Hello everyone. Yes, I am finally back after having COVID. I am feeling better and I'm so excited to be able to talk to you again and upload videos. And yeah, I'm just really excited because I love talking about my notebooks. Today I want to talk about my planning and journaling routine in the hobonichi Kazan, specifically the weekly layout. I thought about doing a week in my hobonichi Kazan video, but to be honest, that will probably be way too long because I just take a lot of time journaling and planning. Not so much, actually. Well, you'll see. You'll see in a minute. And yeah, so today I just want to show you what my routine and my weekly layout is, because this is the place where most of my planning is happening. And yeah, I'll talk a little bit about my planning system in here and also show you how I'm able to use the spread for planning and memory keeping, because that's what I do. I actually use this spread for planning and memory keeping at the same time, and I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do that successfully, and I am. So yeah, today I'm gonna tell you all of my secrets that aren't really secret, but yeah. My routine usually starts on Sunday because that's the day when I start setting up my new weekly spread, and I usually start by lettering in the days of the week in each column just as a little header, and then I of course also just set up my weekly to-do list, and for that I just take a look at the previous week to see if there are still tasks I haven't done yet, and if there are, then of course I just put them in my new to-do list, and then I also add things that come to mind that I want to do in that week. So yeah, this is pretty much just an ongoing list of things I want to do, and I'm also adding things throughout the week if I come up with something and I'm not sure which day I want to do it yet, then I'll just put it in this weekly to-do list. What I also like to put in the sidebar is a to-do list for YouTube. This is just a list of the main things I need to do for my weekly YouTube video. I upload a video every Sunday, and it's just nice to have this list to be able to cross things off as soon as I have done them, and yeah, just to be able to see how much I still have to do before I am finished with my weekly video. Okay, it is Monday. Well, actually, it isn't really right now, but you know what I mean. And the first thing I usually do is just check off the things I've already done. And as you can see, what I do and how I structure my columns is pretty much just put all of my to-dos at the top. Well, actually, I don't put all of my to-dos at the top, but all of the to-dos I put in throughout the day and also the previous days, I'll just put at the top. And I don't really care in which order, I just put things down as they come to mind. And since I'm not really a busy person, I still have a lot of space to do my memory keeping. And for that, I pretty much just go with the flow. I don't really care about the timeline. I usually just ignore that, to be honest. The only thing I try to do is keep things in order. So for example, if I go to the store first and then read a book in the evening, I try to keep all of my memory keeping items in the order I actually did them. For my to-dos, not so much. To-dos I usually just put down as they come up in my mind, but everything memory keeping related, I'll just put down in the order I actually did it. And yeah, as you can see, I also add decoration. On Monday, my to-dos were going grocery shopping. I also had to go to the bank, take a picture for Instagram, and yeah, then I went to the grocery store with my mom and decided to do this little memory keeping entry. And then I also had to clean up a bit and charge my vacuum. And yeah, I put those things down as to-dos, and I sometimes even put things down after I already did them, just kind of as an accomplishment, if that makes sense. So yeah, I tend to put down things as to-dos that are just really mundane and not really crazy stuff, but that's how I'm able to actually fill up the whole column, because that's something I was kind of worried about, to be honest. But since I put down every small thing, I'm able to fill up those columns pretty good, and I have a lot of space to do my memory keeping and also have a lot of space to decorate. And yeah, that's pretty much my system, to be honest. I'm not really someone who's doing a lot of scheduling, so most of my planning actually consists of writing those to-do lists. And of course, sometimes I'll put in things to schedule them, kind of, but most of the time it's really just to-do lists and then my memory keeping in the rough order I did it without really considering if the timeline is actually correct. I have to say, I think the timeline in the Hobonichi cousin is a little bit weird anyways. It's not really a timeline I can work with because it's just way too, I don't know. I couldn't use this for scheduling stuff, because if I'm actually planning out my whole day, I would schedule things in like a more detailed way, and that's not really something you can do in the hobonichi cousin. So yeah, I usually just write down to-do lists and do my memory keeping within the rest of the space, and that's actually working pretty well for me. I think the first thing that I always do when I open up my notebook is just check off things. I sometimes even go in with pencil and already sketch out my memory keeping stuff a little bit. And I feel like even though my system is really simple, it's kind of hard to explain, but I guess you can kind of see what I'm doing here. And what I should probably also mention is that I'm using these bullet points a lot of people use, and they're working pretty well for me. I just do a bullet point for each new to-do, and then I cross it off when I've done it. If I decide to move it somewhere else, I'll use an arrow, and if I for some reason don't have to do anything anymore, I'll just cross it out. And yeah, that's just working great. That's a system I use for years now, and I don't know, it's just, it makes a lot of sense in my head. So yeah. By the way, I initially thought about doing this video in like a real-time plan with me kind of way, and now that I'm editing it, I'm glad I decided to go with a voiceover instead, because I think I had like 5 hours of video footage. I just spent so much time in my notebooks and really enjoy rearranging things and thinking about stuff, and I'm not really sure if that will be too interesting to watch in real time. So a voiceover it is for now. I think it's for the better. We'll see, maybe I'll do it in real time someday. But yeah, I'm glad I decided to go for a voiceover instead this time. Okay, let's get back to what I'm doing right now. On Tuesday, I didn't really have a lot of memory keeping stuff I wanted to record, so I decided to just put down what I ate instead. And yeah, I think that's already it for Tuesday. As you can see, on Wednesday, I already did a couple of things off camera, because I have to admit, filming those kinds of videos where I actually try to film everything I do in my notebook, or most of what I do in my notebook, is kind of hard for me, because I usually tend to do things throughout the day, kind of while doing other stuff, just checking off things, putting in more things, and I can't really set up my camera every time. So this time I tried to do everything in the evening. That's also why I tend to put things down and then check them off right away, because I try to kind of save everything I did in my notebook, or I would do usually, for in the evening when I'm actually filming, and it's kind of hard doing it that way. I don't know, I kind of struggled a little bit with this, and I was glad when the week was over and I could go back to my usual just writing in my notebook without having to worry about filming. So yeah, I did some stuff off camera. But yeah, I think that's fine. I hope you don't mind too much. I think the other thing that's kind of difficult for me is that I'm usually journaling, or I'm usually doing all of my planning in bed in the evening, or most of it. Again, I also check off stuff throughout the day and add stuff throughout the day, but most of my planning and journaling is happening in bed in the evening, and that's not really a place where I can film too well. So yeah, but whatever. You probably don't care about those things, but I really like to share those behind the scenes things too. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick. As you can see, on this day I started planning out my week a little bit more and just putting down to-dos for the rest of the week. That's something I really like doing sometimes, and yeah, that's Wednesday. On Thursday, I had a pretty long to-do list and also started planning out my Friday a little bit more because I was starting to get really overwhelmed towards the end of the week for some reason. I don't really know why. And my solution for that is always writing to-do lists, because for some reason that helps me organize my brain a little bit. And what I really like doing to kind of make my spreads a little bit more interesting is putting down those lettered headers throughout the columns. Like, for example, on Friday, I wanted to do my laundry. So I put down laundry, of course, the German word for it. And then I put down all of my to-dos related to that topic underneath, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm making things way too complicated again, but I don't know. I just always feel the need to over-explain things, especially because you, or most of you, probably can't read what I'm writing because I'm writing a lot of the stuff in German. So I don't know. I really feel like I have to explain everything, but some things I just can't really explain. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm starting to write more and more stuff in English though for some reason, so I don't know, maybe we won't have that problem anymore soon. But for now, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm probably just overcomplicating things again, but yeah. On Thursday, I also finished reading Loveless by Alice Oseman, and I decided to put that into my spread because that's one of the things I really like to remember, like finishing books, maybe watching a TV show. Things like that are great things for memory keeping, in my opinion, because I am a burned out autistic person who's usually just at home, and most of the time I don't really mind that, to be honest. I mean, it obviously would be great to not be so burned out anymore, but that's nothing I can change right now. So I don't know, most of the time I just don't care that I'm not really a person who goes out much and it's just mostly at home. But sometimes when I'm looking at other people's spreads and see what amazing things they're doing and how productive they are, it can be a little bit frustrating because obviously I would love to be a little bit more. I don't even know how to explain it, to be honest, but maybe you know what I mean. So I just really like recording the most mundane things and just small things that for some people aren't really special, but for me, they are oftentimes actually really big accomplishments, like taking a shower or washing my hair. And I don't know how to explain it, but maybe some of you know what I mean. And it looks like on Wednesday I had a migraine, so I decided to add this in too, even though that's not really a nice thing, but I don't know, it's a part of memory keeping for me, and I had an open spot there, so I guess I just decided to add this in. And what I also started doing is using my fountain pen with like the ink I use for my headers to draw a line next to the tasks that are related to one of those lettered headers, just to keep things a little bit more structured. By the way, for decorating, I'm just using random paper scraps. I'm also using a lot of things from the Coffee Monsters Co. and those print-on stickers you can see from MU Lifestyle. So yeah, just in case you were wondering. Okay, I feel like I need to talk about those dots I'm literally putting everywhere. I started putting those dots in spaces where I made a mistake or had an ink smudge or anything, just to cover it up, because I feel like just putting a dot somewhere is nicer than having an ink smudge. And for some reason, I liked the look of it so much that I'm now putting them everywhere, and it's kind of starting to annoy me, but I just can't stop. So yeah, just so you know, this is how the madness started. I'm not sure if this is an autism thing again, but yeah, just in case you were wondering why I'm putting dots everywhere. Like, I don't know, but I just like it and I enjoy drawing them. So yeah, I think that's the reason. I guess we are already on Saturday, and for some reason I can't pronounce Saturday. Saturday, whatever. I feel like I have to stop talking. My head is getting a little bit weird, but I mean, my head is always weird, but I think it's getting even weirder, which isn't a good thing. So okay, let's get back to this journal page. I wanted to talk about my fountain pen inks. I started using a different fountain pen for each week. No, not a different fountain pen, a different fountain pen ink for each week. Oh my goodness. And I'm really enjoying this. It's a great way to use my fountain pen inks a little bit more, and I think it's really nice. And what I also do is using the 𝚜𝚌𝚕 monthly kits for each month, but not just for the monthly layouts, but also for the weekly layouts. And I'm really enjoying that because I feel like this is giving me a little bit more consistency, but since I'm using a different ink for each week, it's still different enough for me to not get bored, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that, and I'm really enjoying everything from the 𝚜𝚌𝚕. These stickers are just so cute, and they're making me really happy, which is great. So yeah, I'm really enjoying those. And as you can see, I just put a dot there on Sunday, and this is one of the few instances where the thing I put in there is actually related to the time that's printed on the timeline, because I wanted to go home to visit my parents and I had to catch a train and I had to leave at like a certain time. So in cases like that, I actually like to schedule things sometimes, but other than that, again, I'm usually just ignoring the times on the timeline and just put things in the order I did them. And yeah, what else did I want to say? I had to cover up the name of the village my parents are living in because it's really small, and I don't think it would be a good idea to put that on the internet. As you can see, we are back to being really overwhelmed. That's why there is a post-it titled "Getting My Shit Together" in the middle of the page. I don't know what was up with this week. For some reason, I was just really overwhelmed. And I also stopped filming in the middle of planning, probably also because I was overwhelmed. I don't know. So I don't have much else to show you, but I'll show you the finished spread in a couple of seconds. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Take care. I hope to see you in the next video, and that's it for today. Goodbye.